Hey there! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects all of us at some point: how to remove toxicity from yourself. It's easy to talk about toxic people or toxic environments, but what happens when the toxicity is coming from within? We're going to have a real, down-to-earth discussion about how to recognize, address, and remove toxic behaviors, thoughts, and habits from your life. Let's get into it. Have you ever found yourself in a pattern of negative thinking? Or maybe you constantly compare yourself to others, get easily frustrated, or find it hard to forgive. These are just a few ways toxicity can show up. It's like we all have those little moments where we're not our best selves, right? But it's important to recognize these patterns before they become part of who we are. For example, when you catch yourself being overly critical, ask yourself, is this how I want to think? Is this how I want to treat myself or others? It's about catching those thoughts before they spiral. So, how do we start? The first step is self-awareness. And I know, it sounds like a buzzword, but it's key. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? Pay attention to your reactions, your feelings, and what triggers negativity. It's kind of like catching yourself mid-thought. Imagine you're about to judge someone or even yourself, and then you pause. Why am I thinking this? That pause can make a big difference. Let's talk about self-talk. I want you to ask yourself, how do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake? Are you kind, or are you harsh? Negative self-talk is one of the most common toxic behaviors, and it creeps up on all of us. It's like we're our own worst critics. The challenge is to replace that criticism with kindness. Instead of saying, I'm so stupid, I can't do anything right, try something like, it's okay to make mistakes. I'll learn from this. That small shift. It's powerful. What about toxic habits? Toxic habits can be anything from procrastination to always expecting the worst. Do you ever find yourself stuck in the same unhelpful patterns? Like always being late or avoiding tough conversations. Those habits may feel small, but over time they can drain your energy and happiness. One way to start breaking those toxic habits is by being honest with yourself. Say out loud, this habit isn't serving me. Once you admit it, you can work on a plan to change it. Maybe it's setting small goals or creating a routine that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Handling emotions without toxicity. Let's be real. Sometimes our emotions can be our worst enemy, right? Anger, jealousy, frustration, they all come up. The key isn't to suppress them but to deal with them in a healthier way. For example, if you're angry, instead of lashing out, take a moment to breathe. Literally, take a deep breath and think, why am I really mad? Sometimes it's not about the situation in front of you, but something deeper. Learning to express emotions calmly is like detoxing your soul from all that pent-up frustration. Now, let's move to how we treat others. It's not just about being kind to yourself, it's also about how you treat those around you. Toxicity can show up in relationships through manipulation, control, or even just having a bad attitude. Have you ever snapped at someone, and later realized it had more to do with your mood than with them? We've all been there. A simple way to cut that toxicity is to practice empathy. Try to see things from the other person's perspective before reacting. It's like stepping into their shoes. When you do that, you stop yourself from being toxic to others. So, what about forgiveness? Holding grudges? Yeah, that's toxic too. Forgiving isn't just about letting the other person off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of negativity. When you hold on to resentment, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. But forgiveness is a process, not a switch. You don't have to force yourself to forgive instantly, but take small steps toward releasing that grudge. Even just saying, I'm working on letting this go, can help you start to remove the toxic weight from your heart. The role of gratitude. One of the most powerful tools to combat toxicity is gratitude. Seriously, when you're focused on what you're thankful for, there's less room for negativity. It's like shining a light into a dark room. Every day, make it a point to recognize at least one thing you're grateful for, even if it's small. It shifts your mindset from focusing on what's wrong to what's right. And guess what? That's how you start detoxing your mind and soul. Lastly, give yourself time. Remember, removing toxicity from yourself is a journey. It's not about being perfect overnight. Give yourself the space and time to grow. There will be setbacks, but that's part of the process. What matters is that you're moving forward, even if it's just one step at a time. Surround yourself with positive influences. Another important aspect of removing toxicity from yourself is your environment. The people you spend time with and the content you consume can either lift you up or drag you down. If you're constantly around negativity, it's easy for that energy to seep into your own mindset. Take a moment to evaluate the company you keep and the habits that are influenced by the people around you. Sometimes, the most empowering thing you can do is distance yourself from those who contribute to your toxic behaviors, even if it's difficult. When you start surrounding yourself with positive, uplifting people, you'll naturally begin to absorb that positivity into your own life. Practice patience with yourself. Lastly, remember that change doesn't happen overnight. You're going to slip up, and that's okay. Removing toxicity is about making consistent efforts, even when it's hard. Don't beat yourself up if you fall back into old habits or negative thinking patterns. Just recognize it and try again. Patience is key because transforming your mindset and behavior is a process that takes time. Celebrate small wins along the way, like catching yourself before a negative reaction or handling a situation with more calm than you would have before. Each step forward is progress, and with time, you'll find that you're becoming the best version of yourself. So there you have it. Removing toxicity from yourself is all about awareness. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's keep growing and removing the toxicity from our lives, one step at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.